The massive screens in Earth's Defense Command Center lit up with multiple alerts. Deep space sensors, hidden in the Kuiper Belt, had detected something unusual. A fleet of ships emerging from what appeared to be artificial wormholes. Admiral James Walker stood from his chair, his weathered face illuminated by the red warning lights. "Report," he ordered, his voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. "Sir, we're tracking 15 vessels of unknown design," reported Lieutenant Tom Reed from his monitoring station. "They're large, sir. Biggest one is about 3 miles long. They're currently holding position just beyond Neptune's orbit." The command center buzzed with controlled activity. This was the moment they had prepared for during the past 30 years. Ever since they had discovered that crashed alien ship in the Antarctic ice, Earth had known this day would come. "Activate the Dark Shield," Walker commanded, "and get me Director Miller on the line." The Dark Shield was humanity's greatest secret, a planetary defense system that bent light and other forms of radiation around Earth, making the planet appear far less advanced than it really was. To any outside observer, Earth would look like a relatively primitive civilization, just beginning to explore its own solar system. Director Anna Miller's face appeared on the main screen. Unlike the military personnel in their uniforms, she wore a simple business suit. "I assume our guests have finally arrived, Admiral." "Yes, Director, exactly as the data from the crashed ship predicted. They're Imperial ships, matching the designs we recovered." Miller nodded. "Implement Protocol Sleeping Giant. All major cities are to activate their underground systems. Move all advanced technology below ground. On the surface, we show them only what they expect to see. A Type 1 civilization barely reaching for the stars." The Admiral pressed a button on his command console, and across Earth, a carefully choreographed plan began. Advanced buildings retracted underground, replaced by holographic projections of more primitive structures. Quantum reactors powered down, replaced by visible solar panels and wind turbines. The orbital defense platforms, hidden behind advanced cloaking technology, remained invisible. Second wave of ships detected, Lieutenant Reed announced. Smaller vessels, probably scouts. They're moving into the inner solar system. Walker watched as the alien ships approached Mars. The red planet looked like a barely established colony with a few small domes. Another clever deception. In reality, vast underground cities and military installations lay beneath the Martian surface, home to over 5 million people. "They're scanning us," Reed reported. "Our countermeasures are working. They're only seeing what we want them to see." The largest alien ship, presumably their flagship, moved closer to Earth. It was an impressive sight. A massive vessel shaped like an elongated diamond, its hull gleaming with a metallic purple sheen. But Walker knew that Earth's hidden fleet included ships that could match it. "Incoming transmission," Reed announced. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, using basic radio waves." "Let them think we've just figured out radio," Miller said. "Accept the transmission through the old satellite network only." The alien message was simple and direct. "Attention, primitive world. You have been blessed by the attention of the Galactic Empire. Prepare to receive our ambassadors. Resistance is unwise. Compliance will be rewarded." Walker and Miller exchanged knowing looks. The crashed ship's database had told them all about the Empire's standard procedures: find developing worlds, overwhelm them with superior technology, and force them into submission. "Send the prepared response," Miller ordered. "Remember, we sound nervous, disorganized, and awestruck." Earth's reply was purposefully shaky. "This is Earth's United Nations. We receive you. We are peaceful and welcome diplomatic contact." As the alien ships moved closer, Walker studied the tactical displays only he could see. Earth's real defense fleet, hundreds of advanced warships hidden in dimensional pockets around the solar system, was ready. The quantum weapon platforms were charged. The antimatter missiles were armed. Let them come, he thought. Let them think us weak. Humanity had spent 3 decades preparing for this moment, ever since they realized the galaxy wasn't the empty void they had imagined. The Empire's scouts entered Earth's orbit, their sensors examining what appeared to be a primitive world with rudimentary space technology. Below them, 7 billion humans went about their daily lives, maintaining the greatest deception in human history. And now, Walker said quietly, we wait for them to make their demands. Let's show them just how primitive we can be. Earth was ready. The sleeping giant was wide awake, and the Empire had no idea what they were walking into. The Imperial Ambassador's shuttle landed in the middle of Times Square, New York. The landing site was chosen carefully. Earth wanted to appear both primitive and impressionable. Old-style police cars surrounded the area, and officers with simple firearms stood guard. Above, news helicopters circled, broadcasting the event worldwide. The shuttle's door opened with a hiss of purple smoke. The ambassador stepped out, a tall figure in gleaming armor, flanked by 4 guards. Their advanced technology made Earth's visible security look like toys in comparison. Director Miller stood at the front of the welcoming committee, wearing an intentionally outdated business suit. Admiral Walker stood beside her in a simple military uniform, playing the role of a basic military commander. "Welcome to Earth," Miller said, her voice shaking slightly, all part of the act. "We are honored by your presence." The ambassador's helmet retracted, revealing a humanoid face with metallic purple skin and silver eyes. "I am Ambassador Rex of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been chosen for integration into our glorious empire." Behind the scenes, every word was being analyzed by quantum computers hidden deep beneath the city. Every movement of the Imperial visitors was tracked by sensors that the Empire didn't know could exist. "Please, follow us to our meeting chamber," Miller said. They had prepared the old United Nations building, making sure it looked impressive by Earth's apparent standards, but primitive by Imperial ones. Inside the UN chamber, representatives from Earth's nations sat waiting. All of them knew their roles in this elaborate play. The ambassador stood at the podium, his armor gleaming under the simple electric lights. "The Galactic Empire spans 10,000 worlds," he announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We bring unity, technology, and progress. Your world has been observed for some time. You have potential, but you are centuries behind true civilization." Walker watched the alien's face carefully. The Empire's arrogance was exactly what they had expected. "We offer you a choice," the ambassador continued. "Join the Empire willingly. Accept our rule, our guidance, and our wisdom. We will uplift your species, give you technologies you can't imagine, show you the true wonders of the galaxy." He paused for effect. "Or resist, and we will be forced to demonstrate our power in less pleasant ways." Murmurs of fear spread through the chamber, all carefully rehearsed. Under the building, hidden sensors recorded everything about the Imperial technology. Each word, each gesture, was adding to Earth's understanding of their opponents. Miller stepped forward. "Ambassador, this is overwhelming. What exactly would membership in the Empire mean for Earth?" The ambassador smiled coldly. "Your resources would serve the greater good of the Empire. Your people would be given appropriate roles in our society. Your military would be absorbed into our forces. Your governments would answer to Imperial authority." "And if we refuse?" Walker asked, playing his part as the concerned but outmatched military man. "Then we will take what we want anyway." The ambassador's smile vanished. "You have primitive projectile weapons and simple nuclear devices. We have ships that can turn continents to glass. We have weapons that can boil your oceans. Resistance would be unwise." Walker clenched his fists, appearing scared but defiant. In reality, he was fighting back a smile. The Empire's threats were revealing the exact capabilities of their weapons. "You have 48 hours to decide," the ambassador declared. "Choose wisely." He turned and walked out, his guards following. As soon as the Imperial delegation left Earth's atmosphere, Miller and Walker rushed to the real command center, hidden half a mile beneath New York. "They're exactly as arrogant as we hoped," Miller said, watching the shuttle return to the Imperial fleet. "And just as blind," Walker added. "Their scans never detected our quantum shielding or the antimatter storage facilities. They'd really think we're helpless." On screens around them, the truth of Earth's power was visible. Massive underground cities, advanced weapon systems, fleets of ships hidden in dimensional pockets. 30 years of preparation, all hidden behind a mask of primitive technology. "Send word to all commands," Miller ordered. "If they choose violence, and we know they will, we'll show them exactly how primitive we are." The next 48 hours would change the galaxy forever. The Empire thought they were about to conquer a helpless world. Instead, they were walking into the biggest trap in human history. The 48 hours passed too slowly for the Empire, and too quickly for no one on Earth. At exactly the deadline, the Imperial fleet moved into attack position. "They're launching fighters," Lieutenant Reed reported from his station in the underground command center. "Over 1,000 of them. They're heading straight for our major cities." Admiral Walker stood calmly, watching the massive holographic display showing Earth and the approaching Imperial fleet. "Right on schedule. They want to scare us into surrender. Let them get closer." The Imperial ships entered Earth's atmosphere. From the ground, they looked like falling stars, beautiful but deadly. People ran screaming through the streets, following the evacuation plans that had been practiced for years. To the Empire, it looked like panic. In reality, it was a perfectly organized movement into underground shelters. "They're firing their first warning shots," Reed announced, targeting empty areas outside major cities. Huge explosions lit up the deserts of Africa and the plains of North America. The Empire was showing off their power, expecting Earth to surrender immediately. "Sir," Reed said, "they're broadcasting." The ambassador's voice filled the command center. "This is your final chance. Surrender now, or we will destroy your cities one by one." Walker looked at Director Miller. She nodded. "Activate Defense Grid Alpha," Walker ordered. "Show them our first surprise." Across Earth, hidden panels in the ground slid open. What looked like simple missile silos were actually launching ports for something far more advanced. The Empire's sensors suddenly went crazy as hundreds of quantum-shielded fighters rose from the ground. "What?" The ambassador's shocked voice came through. "Impossible. Their technology level. Target their front line," Walker commanded. "Fire the gravity pulse weapons." Earth's fighters released waves of invisible energy. The Imperial ships suddenly found themselves being crushed by artificial gravity fields 1,000 times stronger than Earth's normal gravity. Dozens of enemy fighters crumpled like tin cans and fell from the sky. "Second wave. Launch," Walker ordered. More hidden doors opened, this time in the sides of mountains and under lakes. Earth's real air force emerged. Sleek, black ships that could outmaneuver anything the Empire had. They engaged the shocked Imperial fighters in the skies over every continent. "Imperial capital ships are moving to attack position," Reed reported. "Right where we want them," Walker smiled. "Activate the orbital defense ring." In space, thousands of satellites that the Empire had dismissed as primitive communication devices suddenly transformed. They combined into a massive ring of energy weapons surrounding the Earth. Before the Imperial fleet could react, the ring fired. Beams of concentrated dark matter, technology the Empire didn't even know was possible, cut through their ships like paper. 3 Imperial capital ships exploded in silent bursts of light. "Impossible." The ambassador was screaming now. "You're supposed to be primitives. You only have basic spaceflight." Walker pressed a button on his command console. His voice boomed across all frequencies. "This is Admiral James Walker of the United Earth Defense Force. For 30 years, we studied you. We prepared for you. We knew you would come, and we knew you would threaten us. Now you see only a fraction of our true power." The battle in Earth's atmosphere was totally one-sided. Earth's fighters, powered by zero-point energy and protected by quantum shields, decimated the Imperial forces. The orbital defense ring continued firing, destroying ship after ship. "They're retreating," Reeve announced with a grin. "The Imperial fleet is pulling back past Mars." "Launch our space fleet," Miller ordered. "Don't let them escape entirely. We need to show them exactly what they're dealing with." From the dark side of the moon, humanity's greatest secret emerged. A fleet of massive warships, each more advanced than anything the Empire had, moved to pursue the retreating enemy. "Send them a message," Miller told Walker. "Tell them this is just the beginning." The Empire had expected to find a primitive world, easy to conquer. Instead, they found humanity at its finest, united, prepared, and far more powerful than anyone could have imagined. As their ships fled in panic, they carried with them a terrible realization. They had just started a war they weren't ready for, and Earth was just getting started. 2 days after Earth's stunning victory, the real Imperial response arrived. A massive fleet of over 500 capital ships emerged from hyperspace, led by the Empire's most feared commander, Grand Admiral Thorax. In Earth's underground command center, Admiral Walker studied the incoming fleet. Their flagship was enormous, 10 miles long, shaped like a massive spear with purple energy flowing through its hull. They'd brought their best ships, Lieutenant Reed said, his voice tense. "That's the Imperial First Fleet. They've never been defeated." "There's a first time for everything," Walker replied calmly. "Director Miller, is Mars colony ready?" Miller nodded on the video screen. "Operation Red Storm is in position. They won't expect an attack from Mars." The Empire's new commander wasted no time. His fleet spread out, covering the entire solar system in an attack formation that had conquered 1,000 worlds. Thorax's deep voice boomed through all communication channels. "Primitive insects," he growled. "You caught us by surprise once. It will not happen again. Surrender now, or we will destroy not just your civilization, but your entire solar system." Walker pressed a button, opening a channel. "This is Earth Command. We've studied your tactics, Grand Admiral. Every battle you've ever fought, every world you've conquered. We know how you think. You know nothing." Thorax roared. "All ships, attack pattern Delta. Show them true Imperial power." The Imperial fleet launched their attack. Energy beams powerful enough to crack planets shot toward Earth, but they hit nothing. The beams passed right through the planet as if it wasn't there. "Hologram technology," Miller explained to her staffs, smiling. "We moved Earth 5 degrees out of phase with normal space 10 minutes ago. They're shooting at our shadow." Thorax realized his mistake too late. From the surface of Mars, hidden doors opened in the red planet's surface. Hundreds of human ships emerged from underground hangars. They had been built and hidden there for exactly this moment. "Mars colony, you have permission to engage," Walker commanded. The human fleet from Mars attacked the Imperial ships from behind. Their weapons, designed specifically to counter Imperial shields, cut through the enemy fleet like a hot knife through butter. "Impossible," Thorax shouted. "Mars is a dead world. We scanned it." "You scanned what we wanted you to scan," Walker replied. "Just like you thought Earth was primitive. You see what we want you to see." The battle spread across the solar system. Imperial ships found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to appear and disappear at will. Earth's ships used technology reverse-engineered from that crashed alien ship 30 years ago, but improved far beyond what the Empire thought possible. "Sir," Reed called out, "they're trying to use their planet killer weapon." The Imperial flagship opened its front section, revealing a massive cannon that could destroy whole worlds. But before it could fire, something unexpected happened. "Now, Director Miller," Walker ordered. The entire asteroid belt suddenly came alive. What looked like normal space rocks transformed into massive weapon platforms. They had been hiding there for decades, disguised as simple asteroids. Thousands of energy beams struck the Imperial flagship from all directions. Its shields failed in seconds. The mighty vessel, pride of the Empire, split in half from the attack. "Status report," Walker demanded. "Half their fleet is destroyed," Reed reported. "The rest are in chaos. Grand Admiral Thorax's ship is breaking up. They're retreating again." The remaining Imperial ships fled in panic, leaving their wounded behind. Earth's forces began rescue operations immediately. Humanity would show mercy even to those who wanted to destroy them. In the command center, Miller appeared in person, walking up to Walker's station. "This will change everything," she said. "The galaxy will know now. Earth isn't just ready to join galactic civilization. We're ready to lead it." Walker nodded, watching the cleanup begin on his screens. "They'll be back," he said. "But next time, we won't wait for them to attack. It's time for Earth to take the fight to them." The Battle of Sol System, as it would become known, was over. The Empire had lost not just their ships, but their reputation for invincibility, and humanity was only beginning to show its true strength. 1 week after defeating the Imperial First Fleet, Earth was ready to take the fight to enemy territory. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of humanity's newest warship, the EDS Vengeance. At 5 miles long and powered by 3 quantum cores, it was the most powerful ship ever built by human hands. "All ships report ready, sir," Lieutenant Reed said from his new position as Walker's second in command. "The fleet is in position." Earth had gathered its full strength, 500 warships hidden in dimensional pockets around Jupiter. Each one carried weapons and defenses that would shock the Empire. It was time to show the galaxy humanity's true power. "Director Miller," Walker called through the command link. "Are you ready to make the announcement?" Miller's face appeared on the main screen. She wore formal diplomatic attire, ready to address not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, patching into the Empire's communication network now. They won't be able to stop the broadcast. Her image appeared on every screen, on every planet in Imperial space. The Empire's tech experts tried to block the signal, but Earth's quantum transmitters were too advanced. "People of the Galactic Empire," Miller began, her voice clear and strong. "Your leaders told you Earth was a primitive world that dared to resist Imperial rule. They lied. We are not primitive. We are not weak. And now we will show you the truth." At that moment, Walker gave the order. "All ships, execute Operation Thunderstrike." Earth's fleet jumped into hyperspace, but not using Imperial technology. Human ships slipped through the quantum fabric of space itself, appearing inside Imperial territory, in places that should have been impossible to reach. The first target was the Empire's largest shipyard, orbiting their colony world of New Purple. The station's commanders barely had time to realize what was happening before Earth's ships appeared all around them. "Disable their weapons and communications," Walker ordered. "Minimal casualties. We're here to show strength, not cruelty." Human fighters swarmed out of the larger ships. Their quantum shields made them nearly invisible until the last second. The Imperial defenses, which had never failed before, were useless against Earth's advanced technology. "Shipyard Control Center is sending surrender signals," Reed reported with a grin. "They're standing down." Similar reports came in from across Imperial space. Earth's forces struck 20 targets simultaneously: shipyards, military bases, and command centers. Each strike was precise, overwhelming, and nearly bloodless. On the Empire's capital world, panic spread through the Imperial Palace. Their best defenses were being bypassed as if they didn't exist. Their most powerful weapons couldn't lock onto the human ships. "Second wave, begin," Walker commanded. More Earth ships appeared, this time over the Empire's major cities. But they didn't attack. Instead, they broadcast the truth, recordings of the Empire's failed invasion of Earth, proof of how the Empire had tried to bully and intimidate humanity. "Imperial Central Command is trying to contact us," Reed reported. "Put them through," Walker said. "Let's hear what they have to say now." The Imperial High Commander's face appeared on screen. His purple skin had turned almost white with fear. This is impossible. How are you doing this? We studied you for 30 years, Walker replied calmly. While you saw what you wanted to see, a primitive world ready to be conquered, we prepared. We took your technology and made it better. We saw your weaknesses and exploited them. What do you want? The High Commander demanded. Director Miller stepped in. Simple. The Empire will acknowledge Earth's independence and sovereignty. You will respect our borders. And you will never again threaten a developing world with conquest. And if we refuse? Walker smiled. Look at your screens. Your best shipyard is under our control. Your capital world is surrounded. Your fleets are unable to even detect our ships until we want to be seen. Do you really want to find out what else we can do? The High Commander's face showed the moment he realized the truth. The Empire, which had conquered thousands of worlds, had finally met its match. We will consider your terms, he said quietly. As the transmission ended, Walker looked out at the Imperial capital world below. They still don't understand, he said to Reed. This isn't just about Earth anymore. We're going to change how the entire galaxy works. The age of Imperial conquest was ending. The age of Earth had begun. News of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On 1,000 worlds, people watched recordings of how a supposedly primitive planet had defeated the Empire's best fleets. Hope began to spread among species that had lived under Imperial rule for centuries. Admiral Walker stood in the Grand Meeting Hall of New Washington, Earth's first off-world colony, watching alien diplomats arrive through quantum portals. Representatives from 30 different species had come, all of them seeking Earth's help. The Centauri delegation is ready to speak, Lieutenant Reed reported, now wearing the new rank of commander. They're the 5th most powerful species in the Empire. Walker nodded. The Centauri were tall, blue-skinned beings who had fought the Empire for 20 years before being conquered. Now they sought a chance for freedom. Director Miller led the meeting, sitting at a round table that showed Earth's commitment to equality. The alien diplomats looked around in wonder at human technology, far more advanced than anything the Empire had. Earth stands ready to help all species who wish to be free, Miller announced. We have proven the Empire is not invincible. Together, we can create a new future. The Centauri ambassador spoke first. 3 days ago, our people rose up against Imperial forces. We used the weakness you showed us. Their overconfidence. Already, 5 of our worlds are free. Similar reports came from other species. The Empire's grip was failing. Their reputation for being unbeatable was shattered. On hundreds of worlds, people were rising up. Imperial ships can't respond fast enough. Commander Reed reported, showing a galactic map. Red dots showed rebellions spreading like a wave across Imperial space. They're losing control. Suddenly, the meeting room's screens lit up. The Imperial Senate was making an emergency broadcast. The Empire's political leaders looked scared, something no one had ever seen before. This is First Speaker Ben of the Imperial Senate, a tired-looking purple-skinned figure announced. The Senate has removed the High Command from power. We request immediate negotiations with Earth and its allies. The alien diplomats burst into excited conversation. This was unprecedented. The Empire had never negotiated with anyone. They only conquered. That's not all, Reed said, checking his datapad. We're getting reports from across Imperial space. Their military is splitting apart. Some fleets are joining the rebellion. Others are trying to set up their own territories. Walker turned to Miller. They're desperate. The Empire is falling apart faster than anyone expected. Miller nodded and addressed the gathered diplomats. This is a dangerous time. If the Empire collapses too quickly, there could be chaos across the galaxy. We need to work together to build something new. The alien representatives quickly agreed. They had seen Earth's power, but also its restraint. Humans had defeated Imperial forces without unnecessary destruction. They had shown mercy to defeated enemies. We propose a new alliance, Miller continued. Not an empire, but a federation. Equal rights for all species, shared technology, mutual defense, and most importantly, protection for developing worlds. The Centauri ambassador stood. My people vote yes. We have seen how humans treat others. You could have conquered us all with your superior technology. Instead, you offer friendship. One by one, the other species joined in. Even some imperial worlds sent secret messages supporting the idea. They were tired of conquest and control. They wanted something new. Walker watched it all from his position near the wall. Hard to believe, he said quietly to Reed. A month ago, they thought we were primitives. Now they're looking to us for leadership. What happens next? Reed asked. We help them rebuild. We share our knowledge, carefully, and we make sure no one ever tries to conquer a primitive world again. As the meeting continued, news came in from across the galaxy. The Empire's grip was failing everywhere. But this time, there would be no chaos, no power vacuum. Earth and its new allies would make sure of that. The galaxy was changing, and humanity, the species that everyone had underestimated, was leading the way. 1 year had passed since Earth first revealed its true power to the galaxy. The view from Earth's new Space Council chamber was breathtaking. Ships from 100 different worlds moved peacefully through the solar system, while the new quantum defense ring glowed softly around the planet. Admiral Walker, now Fleet Commander of the Allied Defense Forces, stood at the chamber's main window. Below him, New Geneva, humanity's first floating city, hovered over the Atlantic Ocean, hosting representatives from across the galaxy. Final report is ready, sir, Commander Reed said, approaching with a datapad. The last Imperial holdouts have surrendered. The galaxy is officially at peace for the first time in 5,000 years. Walker smiled. So much had changed in just 1 year. The mighty empire that once ruled thousands of worlds had transformed into the Galactic Alliance, with Earth playing a key role in its leadership. Director Miller, now serving as Earth's representative on the Alliance Council, entered the chamber. The technology sharing program is working better than we hoped, she announced. 50 worlds have already built their first quantum shields. Another 100 are learning clean energy production. And the Empire's old leaders? Walker asked. Most chose to join the new system once they saw how well it worked. The few who tried to keep fighting. She shrugged. Let's just say they changed their minds after seeing our latest ships in action. The chamber's doors opened again, admitting aliens of various species, the new Alliance Council, the Centauri ambassador, the reptilian leaders of the Draconis worlds, even former imperial governors who had embraced the new way. They all took their seats at the round table, with Earth holding just 1 seat among equals. The patrol fleets report another discovery, Reed said, checking incoming messages. A new civilization, just reaching for the stars. They're about where we pretended to be when the Empire first found us. Have we made contact? Miller asked. No, Walker replied. We're following the new first contact laws. We watch, we protect from a distance, but we let them develop at their own pace. No more forced empire building. The Alliance Council meeting began, discussing the latest developments across the galaxy. Trade was flourishing between worlds. Scientific cooperation was leading to breakthroughs that neither humans nor aliens could have achieved alone. Former enemy species were working together to explore the unknown parts of space. Earth's education programs have been particularly successful, the Centauri ambassador reported. Younger species are learning faster than ever. And the human idea of fiction, imagining better futures, has sparked a cultural revolution across the galaxy. Miller stood to address the council. 1 year ago, the Empire thought they found an easy target. They thought Earth was primitive, weak, and ready to be conquered. Instead, they found humanity at its best, prepared, united, and willing to fight for not just our freedom, but everyone's freedom. Walker added, and now the galaxy is better for it. No more conquests. No more forcing primitive worlds to advance before they're ready. Every species develops in their own time, in their own way. The council chambers' holographic display showed the known galaxy, not as territory to be conquered, but as a network of cooperative worlds. Earth's quantum technology had made travel easier than ever. Trade routes connected former enemies. Defense fleets, made up of ships from many worlds, patrolled space not to control, but to protect. The latest surveys are in, Reed reported happily. Quality of life is improving on 90% of Alliance worlds. Education levels are rising. Poverty is falling. It's working better than anyone dreamed possible. Walker looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, new civilizations were taking their first steps into space. When they finally reached the stars, they wouldn't find an empire waiting to conquer them. They would find friends, allies, and guides. Not bad for a bunch of primitives, he said quietly. Miller joined him at the window. We proved something important, she said. True civilization isn't about who has the biggest ships or the most powerful weapons. It's about how you treat others, especially those who seem weaker than you. The council meeting continued, planning the future of a galaxy where cooperation had replaced conquest, where strength meant protecting the weak rather than controlling them, and where Earth, the planet that dared to say no to an empire, helped lead the way to something better. The end.